Welcome back. In this section, we are going to continue talking about the Java Persistence Query Language, or JPQL. And there's only one topic that we're going to cover, and that is how to delete data with JPQL. Okay, as you guys may remember, in the previous section, we added some code to insert and update some data. Using JPQL, we added 3 temporary customers to the customer table so we can still see them here in the database. Now we are going to add some code to delete these temporary customers. So our JSF page, very simple. We're going to add a command button that deletes the customers, and this invokes a method. When the user clicks on the button, it invokes the delete temporary customers method on our controller. And remember, this controller as in the C in MVC pattern, so it does not deal with database access directly. That is taken care of by a DAO, a data access object, or a facade, which is what NetBeans calls them. So this method calls the delete customers and customer facade, delete customers method. Okay, so here we have our JPQL. Those of you that are familiar with SQL will see that this is very similar. We have delete from, then customer is our JPA entity. We don't use the table name, we use the name of the entity, which is the name of the class. C is an alias. We have our where clause. If we don't use a where clause, then all the data in that table will be deleted, which is not what we want. And the where clause works just like we've seen before. In this case, we want to delete all of the rows or entities whose names start with temporary. So we use the like operator, temporary, and then just like in SQL, we have a percentage sign, which means anything that starts with temporary. Okay, so this is just a string, regular Java string, nothing fancy. So with that, we need to create a query object just like before. So we invoke create query on entity manager and pass our string. And then once we have our query object, we invoke execute update, and then the actual deletion is done in the database. Okay, so let's see it in action. Okay, here we have our third button. Once we click it, immediately those temporary customers will be deleted. So let's go ahead and click. Okay, we have our confirmation message. Let's go back to the database. And if we refresh, the temporary customers are gone. So as we can see, we can easily delete rows from the database using JPQL. Since most Java developers are familiar with SQL, the syntax is very similar. So that's it for this lesson, and that's it for JPQL. In the next lesson, we will be talking about the criteria API, which is a way to create queries, JPA queries, using a Java API as opposed to a query language. So see you guys in the next lesson.